What up, what up, what is happening, good people? Welcome to a Relationship Friday of Herb and Two, alongside the well-storied Tucson Warner. My name is Herb Howard. This is where we get together specifically on Relationship Friday and talk about relationships and how they impact every aspect of our community, education, agriculture, economics, everything. And so we figure we need to get to the bottom of these relationship conversations, and so we do that on Fridays. Thank y'all so much for choosing to be a part of this conversation. As always, your input is valued and definitely appreciated. Right off the back, I want to let you know if you want to get the part two, the nitty gritty of these conversations, you got to become official Dirtbag. Sign up to the Patreon. Go to patreon.com/Herb and Two. Become an official Dirtbag. Get all of the bonus content and much more. But thank you so much for choosing to be a part of this conversation. Again, we appreciate y'all being here. This is Herb and Two. It is intellectual thuggery at its absolute finest. Can't have Relationship Friday without having E4. Oh, E, what up?
What's popping?
You good?
I'm good.
You good? Your eyebrows look good.
Thanks.
Yeah, I feel you.
40 Fonzarelli.
40 Fonzarelli. Two. What's happening, good brother?
What down, family? I'm blessed and highly favored, man. I'm tired of shit. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
Had a tails from the bike asshole moment today
shit.
on the way here.
Here you go. Here you go. Let's just set the over under right now. I'm gonna set it at 10.5. No, I'm gonna set it at 9.5. I'm gonna set it at 9.5 bicycle mishaps from you between now into the summer. These are to include falls, flat tires, lost bikes, broke bikes, whatever.
Flip chain.
You know what I'm saying? All kinds of malfunctions. I'm gonna set it at 9.5.
You probably about right.
Yeah.
I go that. But I can deal with some of that shit, right? Slip chain, I can deal with that.
Yeah.
Falls, I can deal with that too, unless it's some girls around. That's embarrassing.
Or if it's down the stairs and you almost fall in the Chicago River.
Even then,
that's weird.
I'd have dealt with it if the girls around. It was bad. It was more about the girls being around.
Never mind this drowning shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna drown. I don't care about that shit. Too many girls around.
Think I'm gonna drown in front of these women?
I was looking at my leg the other day. My leg is still fucked up from that day.
Sir, first of all,
I got a scar, like a childhood scar from that day.
Two, they're concrete stairs, and but for the barrier, you would have fell into the Chicago River. Like, what's wrong with
I went bowling for white people that day. I let that bike go. I ran. It rolled over a bunch of white people. I ain't give a fuck about I ain't give a fuck about the white people.
Oh, I'm done.
Take it out, Joe.
Let them go. 10 points.
I got some some adult childhood scars,
Yeah.
and I've been looking at them lately like, damn. So I used to. One day I was working out. I was running outside, and I tried to do, like the jump squats on the concrete.
Oh.
You know.
My knees was like,
And I forgot what happened, but when I came down, I slipped, skinned my knee, skinned my shin. And then yesterday, I'm hoping this don't turn into a scar. Yesterday I was cooking some fish, and the olive oil splashed on my stomach. Why my stomach was out, I don't know. Olive oil splashed my stomach, so now I got 3
Damn.
bubble joints on my stomach. So.
I got a friend, she 3rd degree of her shit with, it wasn't even grease splash. Like she spilled the whole boiling water, boiling frying grease. She spilled the whole shit on her. 3rd degree of that shit. I think it's starting to heal up. I think she always gonna have some of that shit.
I pray I don't.
Smoked
her.
her.
My stomach could
cooking
be
naked, man.
You start riding a bike with clothes on. What happened to you?
So, man, I told Ron I was gonna meet him here early. I'll be on my Iron Man shit because I'm not gonna die of diabetes. So I was like, fuck it, it ain't real. It wasn't raining at the moment. I got a pocket. So I could beat the rain. You know what I'm saying? So I dirt out. You know what I mean? I get to 31st and basically King Drive. Probably was Calumet though.
Dirt is such a good word. We got to bring it back, but I didn't mean to interrupt.
Right. So I dirt out. I get to 31st and Calumet. And I'm just riding smoothly, keeping my pace. Then I'm starting to feel the street way more than I should be feeling the street. I was like, fuck you! This is a flat tire.
I'm starting to feel the street.
The ride change. You know what I'm saying? It's ain't the same.
That is a wild way.
Feeling real cobblestone-y right now.
I'm feeling the street of this shit, right?
He said it was such a straight face.
But I'm too far from the crib to turn back.
Right.
Too close to the studio to turn away.
Right.
But too far from both of them to be comfortable.
To continue making it like you're doing it.
I just ain't comfortable with some fuck shit, right?
Right.
I look at my phone got a bar, one little juice of power, because I've been riding. Fucking letting the shit play, music video, all that.
Okay,
shit.
all right.
So I said, maybe it ain't a real serious situation. Maybe I can put some air in this bitch, make it to the studio, I'll be cool.
Sure.
So I walked to the gas station. This is black neighborhoods at its finest. I walked to the gas station. This is what, I guess 31st and
Michigan.
Mm-hmm. 2 air pumps. Both air pumps cost $2.50, but neither work. First of all, why the fuck is air $2.50?
Yeah.
You're fucking disrespectful for that.
That's
shit.
aggressive.
That's
It used to
aggressive.
be just throw a quarter in there.
Air should be free.
It's some that's free. I'll tell you where, but I can't think
12
of it.
on Roosevelt.
12 on Roosevelt and Wabash.
The fact that we
That
have
one
to
free.
know those gas stations to not give you motherfuckers $2.50 irritates me. But either way, both was broke, so it didn't matter anyway, right? So I'm walking, because it's easier to walk to the studio than walk to the crib. I'm just going to walk it off. Fuck it. So I get the idea. I Google, where's a bike shop? You right? It got to be something that I just don't fucking know about.
They be real tucked off. I mean, you walk right. They're not tucked out like, but then you walk right past them type shit.
Yeah, they be tucked off, right? But I know most of them on the south side because I have these kind of issues often.
We know.
You know what I mean?
Man, let's move to 10.5.
And I see a sign, I see a Google's that says 32nd and Halsted.
Okay, so now you're gonna head west.
I'm heading west already because I'm still walking towards the
Right, you
studio.
gotta come to the studio, sure.
Right? So I say, fuck it, I could walk to Halsted. I walk from 31st and Key Drive to 32nd to Halsted to get my tire fixed.
That's a mile and a half.
Not from 31st and King Drive to 31st and Halsted. It's further than that.
I mean, numerically, you're talking about 800 west and 400 east. So that's 1,200. In theory, a mile is 800.
To do the actual math of the hundreds.
I'm just excuse the fuck out of me.
Yeah, that was what my early day was, and I was like, fuck, I don't want to meet Ryan. Fuck this whole thing. I want to go home.
Ron, ever prompt as he is, been here probably.
No, he wasn't.
Oh, you had some shit going too?
30 minutes late, I was pissed.
Damn.
Who was 30 minutes late?
Ron said he was 30 minutes late.
Oh, yeah, I beat him here still.
Oh, okay.
No.
Well, what did we learn today?
Keep going. It's my motto in life.
I mean, that was the only thing you learned.
Keep going.
I mean, that was the only thing you fucking learned.
That's my motto in life. You keep going, you're going to reach your goal. No matter what fucking impediments come through, you keep going, you're going to reach your goal.
No, that's facts,
That's
man.
good. I like that.
Word to Nip, man. 5 years since his death date.
The marathon. I saw a lot of those posts. That was about, okay, death date.
Yeah,
I'm not honoring that shit.
No, I'm not a death day honorer. I'm more of a birthday honorer. But I'm just surprised it's been 5 years since he's been gone. Like, it don't seem like that to me, but it's like crazy. Like, I swear to God, I still mourn Nip death. Like, I'm not even a mourning nigga. I'm not a death mournerer. You know what I'm saying? I'm not that kind of dude.
This gets more and more drink champions every day.
Mournerer. I'm not a death mournerer. My own family, I just, whatever, shit, be what it is. But for some reason, man, I never knew in my life, you know what I'm saying? I've mourned his death for a long time. I think it's just because of the potential that I thought he had. I think he was uniquely qualified to do something that not many people are qualified to do in terms of unifying the street culture in LA specifically. And then what that could have done to set a precedent for what could be done across the country. And I thought that his relationship with YG, his relationship with Game, I thought that he was uniquely qualified and give a fuck in a different kind of way. And so anyway, I digress, but
It's the Leo spirit.
yeah, man, he said that he said, I ain't gonna say act like I'm special with this marathon thing. He said only genius thing I ever did was not quit. You know what I'm saying? To your point, just keep going, right? He's like, you gotta just make up your mind that you're gonna die behind what you're getting at right now. And that's something that just resonates with me every time some shit is like difficult or hard or like I don't see make up your mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gonna do this shit or you ain't. And like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna die behind what I'm getting at or I'm not. And that particular Nip quote amongst many has always resonated, man. So, R.I.P. to Nip,
Rest in
man.
peace to the homie.
R.I.P.
Yeah, and Lauren London, his partner, she put up a post and the caption was powerful. She was talking about, not only them and they love him, she miss him and all that. I don't mean to be so dismissive of that, but what was powerful of it was she was talking about his name, Hermes, and that obviously means God will rise. He had it tatted on his face. And then for this year, his death date to fall on Easter. You know what I mean? With the God will rise thing, I thought that was poignant too. But anyway, rip Nip. We got some things we got to talk about today on the relationship side. We're going to get into some serious conversations about marriage, what that looks like, what we've learned from marriages that we've seen in the past, as like what our parents' marriages or lack thereof may have looked like, and how that influenced us. So a couple other things I just want to address on some lighthearted shit. You've always been open about your affinity for Erykah Badu and how she just walk on water in any fucking space that she
It's kind of true.
Legendary hip hop pioneer DOC. I was gonna say pioneer. He came in late '80s. You know, he had been around for a minute.
Pioneer.
But yeah, pioneer, OG in the game, triple OG in the game. DOC was on Drink Champs recently, and he was talking about his relationship with Erykah Badu. They have a child together. They got a daughter together, and one of them, Nori or EFN, was like, "Yo, she had you vegan for like 2 years, didn't she?" He was like, "Hell yeah, she had me vegan for 2 years." I shouldn't do that. He was like, "Hell yeah."
You hard ass up.
I am.
I just wish you
He was like, "Hell yeah, she had me vegan for like 2 years." He was like, "Man, I love that woman." He was like, "There's just something about that woman," and you know, she's like, "She gave me that child and that child." But anyway, he's another one on the list of Baduists who
Well,
have
why
been.
is it not working out?
Huh?
Why is it?
Because she here for a good time, not a long time. She to elevate you and move on. She got other students.
Well, I disagree with both y'all. It's y'all perspective of what working out is conflated by the social standard of what working out means.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Preach, doctor.
What qualifies working out?
Well,
I think in
that's the
this sense she meant stay together.
Right, but does that qualify as working out? Right? Obviously, he openly said, "I love her."
Yeah.
Right? I would guesstimate, I don't know their personal business, they're great friends, they raising their daughter in whatever capacity they raising their daughter. They built a bond, it is unbreakable for the rest of their life. And you can have a contract without a bond.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So they don't have the contract,
But they got the bond.
but they got the bond. And what's more important?
That's real.
Yeah, I wonder.
You know what I mean?
I would like to know. I would be interested to understand more about her.
Yeah, me too.
You know, like
Similarly,
and
most
her
of the men
perspective
that
on things.
pass through her life, have a bond that is unbreakable.
She's kind of developed that Prince reputation. Like, did you look in the eyes type shit? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you look in the eyes, she got you. I don't know the woman. She seems to carry a very regal essence
Yeah, I
to
like
her.
Erykah Badu.
And Tools put it plainly before in the past that she got however many kids she got by however many baby daddies. By any other metric, she's a slut, whore, bust down. Nobody's ever said that about her. You know what I'm saying? Like, there has to be a reason for that.
Because
right?
they probably grew. You know, the people that she's interacted with, they've probably grown, learned a lot from her.
I think
So
it's the
and so
argument I always make, though. When you operating in your proper polarity, those terms don't come out. You can't confuse the two. It's just an energy. You know what I mean? Like, she moves in a space of spirit where she's complete or healed. And when you get that energy, you acquiesce. You know what I mean? And even the people from the outside, right? We acquiesce as well. It is what it is, right? She doesn't carry this moniker. She walked down the street in Dallas naked on the fucking video.
She did.
Right? Everybody saw it as art.
They did.
You know what I mean?
Sexy Red couldn't do that.
Sexy
I mean,
Red
she
doesn't
might
that.
do it, but she would be a bust down slut whore.
Right, but she don't even get naked, and she's considered a bust down slut whore.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm not validating that either, because we don't know Sexy Red. And in all honesty, right, I think Sexy Red in a lot of ways, just like you sent the Angela Yee thing when she was on there, and she was talking, you know, the whole premise is, you know, the kind of sex you have, and then that.
Yeah.
She's really not the person she's projecting to be. You know what I mean? When they was talking about sexual positions and then she was like, "Oh no, I don't do all that. I ain't into all that. I don't know." And not to say what you do and don't do in the bedroom qualifies. I'm just saying it's like it's an energy conversation.
It don't tend to be those outwardly sexual people that's really hypersexual in the first place. It be the chill ones that you don't really see it. She not, you know, twerking on the handstand in the middle of the club. She over there, but she is a absolute demon. You know what I mean? So I think that fits. That's on brand. Another funny thing I saw this week in the chat. I don't know which one of y'all put it in there, but hell, it might have been me. But it was a Zoom meeting of a group they identify as queer and fat.
That's funny to say. The queer fat group.
It was a queer
They
fat
were
group.
queer and fat.
Yeah, this is day shit. I'm not saying
You
it.
had to be both.
Queer
Why
and
you need a
fat.
group?
That's what the group said. We need a group.
Why you need a group?
Why you need a group?
I mean, it's one thing to even have the gay group in my opinion, but you got to be fat too.
Queer and fat.
How segregated can we fucking get?
Queer and fat.
You know what I'm saying? What is the qualifier?
Fighting out of the blue corner.
If you're a woman, you got to be what? 270, 260. What qualifies as queer and fat?
It depends. How tall are you?
Right?
You know what I'm saying? What's your BMI?
A lot of people out here got body dysmorphia out here, right?
Why
Some
does that have
women
to be
look in
the
the mirror and be like, I'm fat. They not fat in my perspective.
Yeah.
That's a conversation in our community anyway.
Oh
Most
my
niggas
God.
be like, she thick, and I be like, she fat. But it's socially just how we view beauty.
I'm dealing with that anyway.
You
I
know
was
what
just
I'm
talking to somebody and
I'm like, I'm fat. I'm like, babe, no, you're not. Relax.
saying?
I know fat people.
Yeah.
I was talking to this guy and he said he doesn't think he's big. Like he's, like works out a lot. And I was like, what? I'm like, maybe you got body dysmorphia. He said, yeah, because I feel like I'm little and then he'll be walking and people be like, oh, you be in the gym. And he like, I'm like, you're big as hell, don't get no bigger.
Tiny old me? Boy,
Right.
lifting buildings. Get your big ass on.
Like, I
Tiny
said,
luster.
Right.
I said, don't get no bigger now either, because
Yeah, it's a thin line on
Yeah.
that fit shit for me too. Not for me personally. I just mean like when I find
Yeah,
a
I know.
feeling.
Yeah.
She's a little swole. She a little swole. I don't like that.
or the guy real skinny at the bottom and super big at the top.
If you're gonna go to the gym, if you're gonna go to the gym every day, at least look at the squats. Like at least think about squats or lunges or like leg press or curl. Like think about it at least. Niggas be
Man, the most
a whole
shit
V
in
shape
the
out this
world,
motherfucker.
though, is at the gas station niggas be like, big fella, don't call me that fat.
Might as well
You
call you
really
fat
ain't
fella.
getting nothing from
Hey,
it.
fuck you two little niggas laughing back there, okay? Ron and P back there
I'm
laughing.
not giving you no dollars, fam. You fucked up off the intro.
I get that way too much these days.
I don't like that.
But what about the queer and fat video?
So the queer fat video, they was having a Zoom meeting, right? It's some queer fat people, and they having their little, I don't know, meeting or whatever.
Queer fat meeting.
And there's a
Secret society.
There's a-
is trust.
right. There's a person in there, and they like, yo, hey, welcome. Are you know where you at? Type shit. Like you kind of wandered into like, I don't know, fucking Mount Greenwood or something. Like, you know where you at? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
And so he's like, this the queer fat meeting, right? And they like, yeah. He's like, okay, I'm good.
He wasn't queer and fat.
I don't know if he was queer, but
He wasn't fat.
he didn't appear fat.
Uh-huh.
So they was like, well, why are you here? He's like, cuz. He's like, my name's Joe, and I know this is the queer meeting, and I identify as fat. Because I identify as 275 pounds. Buddy is like a $110.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Soaking wet.
Buddy
What
like
did
a
he do?
Buddy like a $110. Like he's clearly a small guy looking at him, but he identified as a fat person. So,
Why judge him?
Now what?
Right.
And the fat queers are laughing at him. And he like,
I'm this
I'm dead ass.
Why we
It
talking
sounds so
about-
funny.
Why we
It's so
talking
true.
about-
Dead ass. So he
The
like
fat queers.
He called out one of the people laughing at him.
Oh, why we
I think
talking
they
about
laughing
this?
at me. And the woman who was leading the meeting, she's like, okay, I'm sorry. She's like, well, do you want to leave? And he's like, no, I don't want to leave. I want to stay. And she was like, would you be uncomfortable leaving? He's like, what, y'all want me to leave? He's like, yeah, we want you to leave. Why you want him to leave? He said he identified as
He ain't
queer and
fat.
fat.
By his logic, it's the same.
Oh, he ain't fat. That's cool. But you can be a man as soon as you wake up in the morning. No trouble. You identify how the fuck you want to identify. Why you can't identify as fat? Once you open Pandora's box, it's cracking.
It's the same joke the black dude does when he does the little skits where he identifies as white.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's the same shit.
absolutely.
Right, if you gonna honor that shit, well then honor me being a white man at the bank.
Up my credit score. Give me this loan.
Take this chance on me, banker.
Don't follow me for miles at a time, police
Pull me
officer.
up like, no, I'm actually white.
I'm white. My dad's
There's
gonna
another
have your
video. I
ass.
just sent y'all that, but there's another video of a queer fat woman getting pulled over by the police.
Mm-hmm.
And he's doing the basic
Oh, because he
shit.
thought she was drunk.
Right.
I saw that.
And she started to scream. She got appalled because he wasn't calling her he, she, him, whatever.
She was drunk, wasn't she? Or
Yeah, she was
crazy or
drunk.
She
something?
was drunk, but my point is, that's the level of
I saw that one.
what's the
Audacity.
word? Not even audacity, but it's a power struggle, right? So she started hollering and screaming and, right, you are disrespecting me. I have all this anxiety because
Right.
you're going against my. It's how that shit is leveraged.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I can't take the test and walk straight on this line because I have anxiety about tests.
That was crazy.
And
She yelled out everything.
Right. And he's like, okay, man, we'll do this. I actually stop calling me ma'am.
Right.
But she was calling him sir.
Right.
But he didn't identify nothing.
Right, he didn't say I wasn't sir, right. But she said I'm not ma'am or woman.
Yeah, man, we live in the twilight zone.
This shit is mad bananas. But
crazy.
shout out to queer and fat identifying Joe for challenging them on that, because you know when you hold up a mirror to your bullshit, it's hard to justify it. You know what I mean? Can you justify the shit you say when I hold up a mirror to you? And if you can come in here and say, no, we're men and we're this and that, then Buddy can come in here and say he's fat. Who's to stop him? So then she go, okay, well, we're talking about fat-bodied people.
Fat-bodied people.
We're fat-bodied people. The fuck you mean? He said.
As opposed to what?
Right. As fat what? Minded? Like
fat heads.
Fat words.
Lips. Fat feet.
Fat shoes.
What are we talking about here?
Fuck are we talking about, man? Can these little ass kids come here with their fat ass shoes and say I identify as fat shoed in this motherfucker? The fuck out of here.
It's just funny to say queer fat. That's
queer and fat.
I know, that's so stupid.
If I was doing to post the link, I would go to the next meeting.
That is so
just post up.
Right.
Nah, man, but you know, we gotta relax, man, with some of this shit, man. Before we get into the topics, man, I gotta tell y'all a story. I told y'all before, but I just want to tell y'all again because I think my mama is tweaking, G. And I know she watches the show religiously, so I wanted to put it on camera.
You want to put her on blast?
Tweaking. She thinks, she's convinced, the United States government is trying to kill her.
She's right.
She is right.
Her specifically.
Let's be 100% clear.
She's right.
She's right, just in the fact that she's an American citizen, and specifically she's black, and she's a woman, and she's poor. Like I get that part.
Mama, I identify with you.
Sure.
We like the queer fats.
But she thinks they're trying to kill like her specifically, or her block specifically. She said.
She's also right. She's also right.
She got a cold that she's been having and she can't shake it, right? So today she telling me, she like, you know, last week, the neighbor came over and we was gonna play cards and open the door for the neighbor, and neighbors like they had been sick, and then as soon as I opened the door, a huge gust of wind just came through, and now the neighbor's sick, it's 2 people in the neighbor's building sick, and I'm sick, and we was talking about these chemtrails that keep coming through here, and they dropping this stuff in our communities, making us sick. And I said, okay, let me get this straight. You and the neighbor was outside on a windy day, and now both of y'all are sick?
But the neighbor was already sick.
But it was chemtrails. You forgot about the chemtrails.
The chemtrails.
The chemtrails is there.
So I understand the chemtrails. I see them all the time. I know what they're doing. But I don't think that they are instant code agents with pinpoint accuracy to your back door.
I agree with Mama.
I know you do.
I was gonna say, I read.
Force her into sickness, and she's gonna have to buy $4 soup.
It's the $4 soup.
And take her price you out of your
It's the $4 soup.
It's the $4 soup.
She was dead ass. She's like, oh, you ain't trying to get close to me. No, back up.
Stay away, yeah.
3 feet, no pressure.
I read a story yesterday about I just found it. A little girl. She was experiencing cold symptoms. The common cold was caused a stroke, and she ended up dying like a 4-year-old. So
really,
yeah. So I don't know. It might be. I mean, I don't want anything to happen to your mother. Not saying.
Nah,
that,
I feel you. Listen, I've never put nothing past government. I always think they're trying to kill us. But the story was just so wild. I'm like, or y'all
it's the strong gust of wind,
or
and the
y'all
fact
just
that the
outside
neighbor was
on a windy day and
already
now y'all sick. Like,
but that's how they get you.
Or the neighbor had a cold, the wind blew, it went up your nose, now you sick. Like,
see, that's how they get you though. They
That's how
make
they
it
get
so
you.
normalized.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Put this
That
in
too sounds
perspective. That rig that went down the other day. That in Baltimore.
In Baltimore, you're on the bridge. Yeah.
The bridge to go.
Yeah, the
down.
ship hit the bridge. Yeah, for sure.
Right.
I think 6 people died at least.
Right. But the brig, the boat company was owned by Speaker of the House, like niece or something like that.
Okay.
Right. And I ain't saying
Nah, come on with it.
conspiracy theory. I don't
I'm
know.
not anti-conspiracy theory. We've said that on the show plenty of times.
But a week prior to this happening, that lady died in a Tesla. Now, this is what they said.
Under the Auto Control Act?
Under the Auto Control Act, but she was also drunk. Like, they doubled down. Right? But check out, she died.
Ooh.
The Tesla went into reverse, sunk in the river, and she drowned. So I understand it's just lightning be striking in one place a lot, and I'd be like, damn, that's just shit. Nobody has these conversations.
Could you get in the backseat of your auto-driven car when you're drunk and go home?
And go to
no
sleep?
DUI?
That's a good question.
I think so.
Yeah,
If the car drives you home.
They quantify like in the next whatever amount of years because of the AI technology that we won't have X amount of accidents because you won't have to dictate the routes.
Yeah.
You really won't be driving. Cars won't even be built with steering wheels anymore. It's
Yeah.
really just you sit there and get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I guess you could say that. It wouldn't be no such thing as drunk driving. No
I
more.
mean, you think about it in theory. I know it's a scary topic for everybody, but like, airplanes are as safe as they fucking come. Like the last couple of weeks for United or whatever, notwithstanding, but for how many airplanes take off in a given day, it's safe as fuck. Far safer than cars. Like way more people die in car crashes than plane crashes in a given year.
That's what they always say.
It's true. You know what I mean? It's just rare.
It's also probably like 1,000 to 1.
No, I would bet it's way higher than that.
Yeah, it's probably way higher than that. I mean,
Yeah.
in regards to just how many cars on the street versus how many, you know what I mean?
Oh, no,
What are
no,
the
you talking about
odds?
that.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'll grant that, sure. But just how many planes take off in a given day in the world is crazy. Like how many planes are in the sky at any given time, and how that shit is run in a way that keeps them from ever really even. You ain't never even been on planes like, ooh, that plane close as fuck to us. You know, that ain't never even happened. You know what I'm saying? So, like that shit is automated in a way that works very, very well. So I don't know when the fuck they tell, hey, you need to drop about 3,000 feet. You need to rise about 3,000. You need to move your ass over about 3,000 feet. Like, you know what I'm saying? That shit works in a way that causes plane crashes to this day to be breaking, cut the show, headline news. Like a plane just fucking crashed. You know what I'm saying? And if it wasn't extremely rare, that wouldn't be the case. You wouldn't hear about every fucking plane crash.
Yeah, but I think that probably answers the question of will you be able to drive drunk in a test on your own? I would say probably no. You probably would still get some type of fine for it because
You started that motherfucker.
yeah, and recently I saw it somewhere. It was, I guess, 2 pilots flying a plane, and one wanted to take a nap, and so he said, okay, you take a nap, then I'm gonna take a nap, and then they both ended up falling asleep or something, and they didn't hear any of the instructions to, you know,
Tweak, yeah.
go down 3,000 feet or everything
Yeah.
that you just named. So, and I think they probably lost their license or something.
Yeah, them
like that.
shits ain't fully automatic though.
Yeah.
Like that, you can. I mean, you get them up there, you get them on autopilot, but that's
Yeah.
just you reach your cruising altitude. Ain't no weather in front of you. The plane's gonna kind of float. But
Y'all both
when something
gonna
has to be done, you gotta fucking do it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't like the car. Like oh, I'm gonna turn right here. I'm gonna turn right here. I'm gonna back up right here. The plane ain't like that. You know, it's not yet anyway.
I wouldn't have that kind of level of trust to get in a fully automated car, though.
Yeah, me neither. I'm concerned.
Yeah, I don't want to be in that at all.
Yeah.
I need some type of human intervention.
Because then
at least
it's like a
possible.
girl who went in reverse and sunk in the river, those just become very common at that point.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe you don't crash as much, but you know, a mechanical malfunction is mechanical malfunction.
Yeah.
You mean?
Yeah.
And depending on who you pissed off or who you are in the world or whatever, we can always create this. Boop.
It's gonna
Hit
be
the
so
button
many
on your
people-
ass.
Man, it's gonna be so. That's not even funny, but it's probably
It's not,
a
it's
lot
real,
of people
though.
trying
Real
to make they
Hit the button on
Make
their
folks-
ass.
It's done on your ass.
hacking cars, crashing
Yeah, I'm
you, acting
cool.
like it was acting.
Even the
taking you
hacking
out.
cars and all that shit. I saw a video
That's real,
of
damn.
a motherfucker stealing a Range Rover. Right? Like they was like how fast these dudes could steal these new cars with this new technology. Dude pulls up next to the Range Rover. He ain't got out his fucking car. Pulls the machine up to the door. He opens the door of the Range Rover after the machine dissects the code, picks up the
shit.
own key fob. He ain't got out his car. So even if it was somebody watching the Range Rover like that's my vehicle, homie never left his vehicle. He just held up the machine. He could catch the wiring, which in turn could read the code. When he decides, the close killing, I'm gonna take off in this bitch. He gets out, opens up the door, puts in his new key fob, and drives off. That shit was like 5 seconds, bro.
Don't take no time no more, Joe.
No.
I mean, it was a
It don't
whoa.
even take no skill, is what I'm
Don't
saying.
take
If
no
you
skill.
could, if you could afford the machine,
You
you
good.
can steal as many Range Rovers as you want.
Yeah.
You're good.
You good.
Well, all right. Marriage or not marriage?
Yeah, I was about to say I don't know that the conversation is about marriage specifically, but go.
So marriage and what I was gonna say is your perspective of it. like how you view it, how you were raised to believe or not believe in it, or raised to believe how it should or should not work, and then how that impacts potentially your own marriage or even just relationships as an adult. I know on that TV show, what was the name of it?
Love is Blind.
Love is Blind. Recently, it was a huge conversation. The guy went through the show with the woman. They got all the way to the altar, and he told her no. And then I saw the conversation then became largely around his relationship with his father, his father's relationship with his mother, and how that impacted his own view of marriage, and whether or not that was present at the altar in his decision to be like, I'm not rocking with this.
Quick, even before you answer that, if I'm understanding this regular, I know there's a big social media kind of push behind this, and there was a lot of blame directed at his dad. Like, he's a narcissist, he's got this XYZ kind of energy. Am I right in that?
Yes and no. I felt like a lot of blame was placed on Clay specifically, which is the young man that said no at the altar, which I'm like, why are they constantly blaming him? I thought he was, fairly straightforward and honest and transparent. But so the father part, I didn't see that as a big conversation.
Yeah, I saw somebody talking about how narcissistic he was. Again, I don't watch that shit.
Yeah.
But even in the clips you showed when he was just having a conversation with Clay pre-wedding,
yeah,
he was just talking about
himself
in regards to track and da-da-da-da. People kind of viewed that, and even heard you say, stop talking about yourself.
Yeah.
And they pushed that narcissist moniker on him.
Yeah.
Right? So that's where I got it from. I got a different perspective of even that conversation. Specifically, I just heard it today because I don't watch that shit.
Yeah.
But I have a very different perspective with that conversation. But go ahead. I'm just trying to get some context.
The reason why, that particular show, Love is Blind, I never watched it. My friends always tried to tell me to watch it. I ended up watching this latest season. And really, the conversation, the trending topic that came out of that show, plus other various conversations that have happened, like on the Breakfast Club, for instance, in conversation with men. I think you went out, and then our friends were talking about it. And it's just been like a really, it's been a trending topic. Even one time, I think when Butter was at the show, we ended up having a conversation, and he even kind of brought up the same type of interaction. And it's that this impact that, or the lack of, I guess, exposure to like healthy relationships from a young man, and then how you move forward and set an example for the other young men perhaps that are watching you.
Because Clay's father was taking him with him while he was cheating on Clay's mother.
Right.
Like, I'm about to go, hey son, if you're gonna make this run, I'm going to cheat on your mom when you coming with me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was the particular conversation, but that's what was happening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Even I forget, I don't remember what I was just watching, but can't remember what I was listening to or whatever. Somebody said something about they would go, it was my friend's husband actually. She made a comment about how his dad or somebody would take him to, to cheat or whatever like that, and then the mama ended up basically finding out because he was like, oh yeah, we be going over here all the time, not knowing that the mom had beef with this other woman type of situation. So basically Clay was having a hard time committing, and although he wanted to be married, he had like a skewed view of like what marriage is because his parents were married for 25 years, but he was involved in like the cheating with the dad, which the mama didn't know about until this experiment came about. Right. It came out during the experiment because Clay kept saying it, like, that's what he said throughout the whole show. My dad used to cheat on my mom. He used to take me, and I don't know how to feel.
Clay get a motherfucking hug too, though.
He does, and
you grown, bro.
He also talks a lot about therapy. He also talks a lot about which people. That's what they've been going around like shaming Clay for. Is like he started talking about therapy this, therapy that. He using it as an excuse. He trying to come up off therapy and like he doing it for clout, sort of a thing. So,
I think.
But it's a trending topic with men. So I just wonder. you know, how that's impacted y'all as men, and I guess it ties back into that like emotional type of conversation, the gay talk is too, we like to call it, and kind of like how you can set
Hey,
the.
we kind of did this homophobia shit. We just had to guess something.
We did.
We had the guest.
We did had the guest. Yeah,
We've had guests of the community before.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But all right, this particular topic. So you've been open about the great relationship you had with your father, how much you admire him, you always hold him in high regard. Mm-hmm. You've also been open about the challenges that you and your mother had in terms of y'all's relationship. Mm-hmm. I don't know that to mean that had anything to do with their particular relationship, but how did that impact you going forward, or what was the experience like?
It's impacted every decision I made in my life.
Mm.
You know what I mean? We laughing about the bike, right? We laugh about me locking my keys out, walking to your mama's house barefoot.
Yes.
We can laugh all you want, but one thing you ain't gonna say is two gonna give up.
Right.
That's a direct reflection of the relationship I got with my father, which is also what I got from the conversation with Clay and his father.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Even in the running conversation.
Okay.
He was like, man, I'm him when it come to running. Mm-hmm. So when you start beating me, I want you to know, nigga, you him.
That's significant.
That's significant, because I ain't no pushover.
He said, I just thought you was out of shape. No, I wasn't out of shape, nigga.
No, nigga,
Right,
I'm him.
yeah.
And I was Olympic caliber at my peak.
And I'm him.
Yeah.
And the fact that you could beat me, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
Right? See, it's interesting, man. And this is kind of jumping around a little bit. Right?
We got time.
I was listening to something the other day, man. It's interesting when you quantify a woman's relationship with her children and a man's relationship with their children, right? And through the public lexicon, they're seen as different, and they are different, but the men don't really get the value for being or assessed as being nurturers. I think that's a falsehood, right? But I also think nurturing from men looks different than nurturing from women, right? And I think oftentimes, and again, the social dynamic, we looking for motherfuckers to be like we are. That's not the design, right? In a man's version of nurture, he also adds in challenge. That's the difference between, that's the total nuance in how men and women deal with their children. It's also how they, not just their children, and I'm only using children,
Boys.
Children, right? Now, it might look different for a boy, because in the expectation of a man, your life is going to demand more challenges out of you. But we challenging all you motherfuckers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the world is coming. And my love, although I want you to be safe, my love says you got to be able to make you safe too.
You gotta be prepared.
You know what I mean? Well, mama's like, no, just don't harm my babies. No, harm coming. And I ain't gonna be there to save you. So if I really love you, I got to make sure you can protect you too. In whatever capacity that might be.
Yeah.
Right? So when I heard the Clay conversation, it was the first time I ever heard it. But online, I saw a bunch of women.
Yeah.
Look at him always talking about himself. He's a narcissist. And I just saw it very differently. I've had the same conversation around the Denzel movie Fences. When everybody was in the theater, like, oh, he's an asshole. I was in them of a crime. Like, that's my daddy. And I'm so appreciative for the nigga he was. You know what I mean? But it's all perspective based. But I also got very different perspectives too in context of marriage now.
I just want to pause to put people on for something if you haven't seen it. When two references Fences and he's done it often, most often we talk about that scene from where he's like, I ain't got to like you. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got to like you, right? You can find that scene as a stage play. And there's one with Denzel too, and Denzel's Denzel, and he kills it. But the James Earl Jones one, whoo! Just that, his presence, he's large, his voice is powerful. Yeah. You don't ever think James Earl Jones is bullshitting with you. He can say good morning, you're like, what the fuck did I do? You know what I'm saying? So that scene was crazy powerful for me. If you haven't seen that particular scene from Fences, just Google the Fences with James Earl Jones, and that scene will most likely pop up and watch that one. That shit's hard.
Yeah, but even in context of my mother and father, like, and I think all people, really, you mimic the models you have. You know what I mean? One of the dopest quotes, I don't even want to say dopest, but the most impactful quotes I've ever heard is from one of my best friends. D Nail, the dude I brought to your party that time.
Okay.
Right. So D grew up in Parkway, old block for the people who know Chicago. He grew up in Parkway, single parent, right? And he was like, and we in our 20s, like we had just graduated college and all that shit. And we having a conversation, and he said to me, man, and I don't have this experience because I have a father. You know what I mean? A father who I deem very, very valuable to my existence. And D was like, too, man, I ain't really have no roadmap to manhood. He said I would look out the window and I just knew I didn't want to be like them. So I would pick pieces of men that I could find to try to mold myself into them. Well, that's the very essence of young manhood. You looking for something to model. And I don't even think it's young manhood. I don't think it go away. There's a reason why Beach is so close to me.
Yes.
You know what I mean? There's a reason why I still call Uncle Walt at night. Man, what you think it is, Uncle Walt? And it don't just be, it be personal shit. It be, you know what I mean? All kind of shit. Because even at damn near 50, here's a motherfucker at 90 who done walked this road I done walked. What do you think of this? How would you engage in this? Right? You got some information I don't have.
And I think that's more of the conversation that I want to have. So that's why when you spoke about marriage, I'm like, I don't think the conversation is necessarily about marriage because we do know that there's a lot of people, not just men, but people that grew up without a father.
Right.
So it is that question of like, where do you learn that from them, right? Even back to that clip that I sent Funky Dineva where he was talking about media and how he don't want to see like these shows that put drug dealers and stuff like that on the pedestal all the time. That's not the only black experiences that we have. These are not the only rich people that you got to sell drugs or you got to do this and do that or be in poverty and have these type of situations, because a lot of people are influenced by, a lot of young people are influenced by media. So if it is a lot of people without a father.
Can I pull back though? I think even that premise is flawed.
What premise?
Because some drug dealers I know is the most morally forward people I know.
Yeah.
Some of the drug dealers I know is more family oriented than people who work at Chrysler.
Yeah.
Right? So, but even the qualifier, right? That's not the only way to be successful.
Right.
But what's the qualifier for success in the first place? Right? Because if that drug dealer had an intact family at the crib and they showed that version of the drug dealer, would that be valid?
Yeah.
But we only trying to play in the concepts of materialism, which is the flaw to me.
Yeah, no, that's real. Two of the more influential, I never grew up with like the father in my house. That was never my reality. Two of the more influential men in my life were both drug dealers, both street dudes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And a bunch of my most influential people were street and are street niggas.
Yeah, like they was just, but they took a real interest in me. I knew they loved me young. I was like, oh, dude, men don't talk to me like this. Men don't take this kind of interest in me like this. And one of them I was more closer to, I don't use name, but Shu I was more close to, and Black I'll say we wasn't that close in terms of proximity all the time, but super close, super close. Always talked about like what I was into and took genuine interest in me. Even as I got old, it's like, you like these motherfucking strippers? Come on, come to Arnie's with me. You know what I'm saying? Like this ain't this. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of shit, man. But I don't know, man. I want to go back to something you said before we move on just a bit. You talked about your relationship with like Uncle Walt and trying to look up to people, and even as you become a man who got you established as your own man and all that shit. As I always reference The Wire, my favorite relationship in The Wire, probably of any relationship in the entire Wire, was between Omar and Butchie. And Butchie was blind. And he owned the bar, but Omar went to him for every single thing. And Butch knew Omar better than Omar knew himself. And one powerful scene is like, they trying to figure some shit out. Is he about to get set up? And Omar like, what you see, Butch? And Butch blind. And he like, too damn much, boy. Too damn much. You know what I mean? Like, that kind of reverence for somebody who they didn't walk your path before, and they understand you. And Butchie wasn't really know all that violent and shit like that, but he knew who Omar was. Like, he tried to get Omar the back up all the time, but he knew it. So, all right, if you're going to do this, let me at least try to fucking guide you through it. And I think there's some extreme value in just having those relationships, not only as a boy, but as a grown man.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm over here wondering, because, you know, life is about experiences, right? And you got to grow through those experiences. And relationship, not just between a man and a woman, not a romantic one, is about the same thing, experiences. So I'm wondering if it's ever even wrong to look up to someone who we would quote unquote call like a bad example.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, is it ever even a wrong?
Nah.
So you take
You know what I'm saying?
what's valuable
100%.
in context of your path,
Right.
right? So Herb always talks about going to the red pepper. So when I had a village of men, that's another thing I'm thankful for my father for.
Yeah.
And those men didn't look alike at all.
Different walks.
My father is very much like me. His network is eclectic than the motherfucker. You know what I mean? At his funerals, you got high-end dope boys and Fortune 500 leaders.
Yeah.
It is what it is. My uncle made a joke of the shit at the funeral. Like, who else could put this room together? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My shit gonna look the same way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But Herb goes to the Pepper all the time. My uncle is the manager of the Pepper. My uncle was a wild nigga. He a wild nigga today.
Wild nigga today.
You know what I mean? But he was a wild nigga, but uber influential in my life, right?
Yeah.
But I also had the energy of my uncle to back off or bump up against the energy of my father.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, my uncle do this shit way cooler than my daddy do, but my daddy do this shit way cooler than my uncle do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And in a lot of ways, I'm a mixture of the two. You know what I mean? My father
Yeah.
was kind of square. I ain't square.
Yeah.
I got Craig energy in the streets all day long. You know what I mean? But when it comes to getting shit done, when it comes to shit that I value, I'm Eric Werner. Is what it is, right? I also lived a few years with my uncle. He just coming home from the penitentiary. He ain't never dealt with no child. I learned a lot of shit from him. In a lot of ways, I had one birthday. I said, man, we raised each other. You know what I mean? But it was in that moment in time that we both needed one another to reach where we had to reach to. But I still have an uber value for my Uncle Carl as well, right? Beach as well. You know what I mean? It don't really stop. And I can just go down the line on a whole bunch of different kind of dudes.
I think that for me, that was just necessary, right? Not having a father in my house, it was necessary for me to seek out, right, these other men who provided different things to me, right?
Yeah.
That were able to satisfy all of my curiosities about everything. You know what I mean? Because I had curiosities about academics or high-level thinking shit, but I had a lot of curiosities about corner shit, and I had a lot of curiosity about girl shit. And different men were able to satisfy or guide me through some of those curiosities.
Did you seek it out yourself, or did it just naturally come?
Nah,
to
most
you,
of
you
them,
feel?
most of them came to me. Most of them were my mother's friends, or maybe relationships that she had, or some of them came from like school. A couple of them I did seek out, right? And I just met them through my own shit. But being able to identify I'm never a person that reduces nobody to whatever somebody would view as their lowest common denominator, right? Whatever is the least valuable. I'm not reducing you. All right, so you sell dope. Okay, you've killed 18 niggas. I know that. But that's not even what I see you. I don't see you like, that nigga killed 18 niggas. You know what I'm saying? I see you as somebody who got genuine love, you know what I'm saying, is really pure, and I get whatever there is to be gotten from you in terms of how it relates to me. And then that influences everything else about me, right?
Yeah.
And I think that, like, I know why I like Rottweilers. I know who influenced me to like Rottweilers. You know what I'm saying? I know when I bought my house, like one of the dudes I was talking about earlier came over and built the fucking stage in my house. You know what I'm saying? Like with his bare fucking hands. And like that kind of shit. But he also moved tons of shit.
Yeah, and I don't think I feel like y'all saying a lot about just like drug dealers or
but I think this is the foundation for the conversation we talk about relationships, right? Because all of those things, all of those different men kind of influenced how I view relationships, because I knew their relationships too, right? I knew, were they married, were they not married? You know what I mean? Were they fathers? Were they not fathers? Were they good fathers? Were they bad fathers? You know what I mean?
Okay.
All of those types of things, I knew those things too about them. One of them, him and my mother was together when I was like a shorty. Like I'm like 3 type shit, right? When they was together. And then they was never really together again. But he never stopped showing up.
But let me add context though too, E. Right? All those men got shortcomings. Every man I mentioned got a shortcoming.
Yeah.
Or more than one. Right? We all know Beach. Y'all don't know his shortcomings like I know his shortcomings.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Some of his shortcomings, if the public knew, would look at Beach in a very different light. You know what I mean? My father had shortcomings.
Of course.
You know what I mean? My uncle had shortcomings. All of them do. So what I said was, in the hodgepodge of them, I take what I value and I leave the rest on the table. Right?
Yeah.
But we all having this human experience. All of us got shortcomings.
Everybody.
Right? That's just the nature of humanity. We all have shortcomings. And again, we don't, to the point of the TV show. Dude said, you know, he spoke about it. I didn't know my father. Right? So he's building a bare construct of manhood too. Right? And it's from an outside source. Right? So I'm putting this hodgepodge together in the best way I can tape the pieces together. Right? And as I walk my journey, there's going to be points in the journey that's going to change my perspective on a lot of things. I hold my father in a very high regard. We talked about that. Right? Me and my mama struggled a whole lot of bit. You know what I mean? But as I get older, I also recognize there's a whole lot of fear in my father. Right? Fear that he's not here for me to have a conversation around.
Yeah.
Right? Why were you paralyzed by so much fear to do what I know intrinsically you probably needed to do? It wasn't healthy for you to continue to be with my mama till you died. It just wasn't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't healthy for you to fear what it looked like walking away from her or even walking away from me.
In that way.
Period, right? Again, back to the journey of this shit. What I wanted to bring up was The Wire again. And I wanted to talk about Naaman Wee-Bey and his wife.
Come on.
Right? Because even how we posed this question, right? Do men, but do women? Because that's really valid in the context of the conversation, right? Because we think it's a one-size-fits-all kind of answer to this shit. What is a good man? Like, marriage ain't even, it's a construct, and it's a contract that a society says is valuable, that leads or fails 50% of the time. And in those 50% of the times that it fails, it's usually the male counterpart who takes the biggest loss. He's not going to walk away with the kids in most instances. Don't matter if he was the best nurturer. His finances are the ones that are most subject to change. Even if you make less. And just on the dignity of some ego, man shit socially, you want to say, man, I don't need you.
Right. His address is more likely to change. You can have all that shit.
Yeah, you can have all that shit. Fuck you. I'm a man. But that's all social. Right? That ain't real. That's all social. You look at our community, the men is on the lower spectrum of the totem pole than the women. So you finna be fuck. But the socialization says, I got this.
Right.
But you probably need her more than she needs you. You understand what I'm saying? But the system is also skewed. Right?
Yeah.
But the kind of point I'm getting to the Naaman Wee-Bey, I can't remember, Londa, something is her name, I don't remember. Yolanda. So if you don't know The Wire like that, Wee-Bey was the gangster of gangsters. Like, he had a code. He murdered a whole bunch of people. If he had to eat the time, he was going to eat the time. But he had a code of ethics and honor. Right?
It was all love and loyalty.
All love and loyalty. He had
100%.
a son who was in 8th grade. Right? His mama, because in the culture of that world, his mama tried to push that boy out to the streets to be
her daddy. To be his daddy.
To be an earner. Because it's time for you to start earning for this household. But he wasn't built like that.
Didn't have to be.
He didn't have to be
I'm
built
a Wee-Bey
like that.
son. Nobody's gonna fuck with me, and we got more money than anybody in the hood.
But his mama had a different kind of mentality, right? And she degraded the shit out of him, which is probably why he wasn't as strong and confident as his daddy, right? So when he came out there, was supposed to earn. It was little bitty niggas out here robbing him and shit. And he wouldn't do nothing about it because the truth, he didn't want to hurt nobody.
He not like that.
I'm just not like that. I don't want to be out here in the first fucking place.
Right.
You know what I mean? Some other dude.
But everybody else could see this though.
Everybody.
Right? His mama, who was in the house with him every day, gave birth to him, supposed to love him and raise him, she can't see that this motherfucker is nothing like Weebay. Everybody else who sees his name is like, that's Weebay, son?
But see, that's why I push
Nah.
back though, Herb. I don't think it's that she can't see it. She don't give a fuck. I'm going to make you into this, which is also contextually how a lot of relationships work.
What did Weebay
Weebay
about it?
ended up going to jail. Weebay was going to do forever and a day because Weebay was the biggest killer in the city.
Weebay.
Right? So he ended up going to jail. We ended up having the name of his old police officer turned pseudo teacher took custody of him, wanted to take custody of him because he found name and the name was talking shit. He wanted to front like he was stuff like that, but he was a hoe.
He was.
You know what I'm saying? Cops see through that, go to the jail, tell Weebay, look, you know your baby mama ain't shit. Your boy actually got some potential. Let him come live with me, see what he can do.
Right.
Weebay like, damn, that's kind of wild. But Weebay know his son too. You know he pussy too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was a scene in the thing where Weebay was like, look, now either you real out there or you ain't. Stop all this faking shit.
So he was cool.
So he let him go.
Yeah.
Right? Told his baby mom, like, you gonna let that fucking boy go. You know what I'm saying? She tried to talk tough. He's like, I'm Weebay. I'll get you fucked up from right here.
Right.
Let that boy go.
Let him go.
You know what I'm saying?
But
So-
I want to change context, even how you told that story.
Oh.
You was like, he pussy. No, he just ain't built for this. That don't make him pussy. He got a different
Well, yeah, I
role
mean,
to walk.
in this context, he pussy. If you sit him out there on the corner, he pussy.
This is important. This is important. And this is why I'm having the conversation I'm having. His mama tried to mold him into a certain kind of character. He's not built to be that character, right? But there is no empathy for the kind of man you are molding yourself into. I don't give a fuck. This is how I view it. You be that.
Right.
Stop. You be that. Full stop, right? Because she's centered and focused on her own needs.
That's what Weebay told her.
Hold up, though. Weebay is that nigga, right? And what does Weebay have? He has the empathy to say, that man say, my son can be anything he want to be. Why would I want him to be like me?
Right.
So even in that statement, he understands that being like me is flawed.
Right.
So I got a question just from there. In the context of Clay, right? Clay, and then we talked a little bit about the Breakfast Club interview where the dude, he was crying about things that his father did to him or whatever like that, or that he didn't get from his father, and that's why he is the way that he is.
Right.
Do you think those type of men are blaming what they're seeing, from their fathers in particular, for who they are, and that they should be?
I think
What do you think that's about?
I think it's valid,
Okay.
right? But I also think you have a responsibility to heal.
Yes.
Right? But I brought in name his mama on purpose because we project this shit is one way, and it's easy to do because, again, the socialization and the standardization is we don't have fathers. No, God damn it, we all flawed and we all need healing. And one thing about me and Herb's experience that I would almost bet a dime to a dollar most women don't experience. It ain't no covens of communities picking y'all up. I ain't seen it too tough. Right? Again, back to socialization. It ain't even spaces and places for y'all to do that. Right? I spent 20 years of my life with my Uncle Craig in a gym. That's where we built that relationship. Right? I spent all my life with my father in a dark room. That's where we built that relationship. Right? It was environments cultivated. It's coaches. It's environments cultivated for us to have these experiences. Where are those environments being cultivated for y'all to have these experiences? And if not, all you doing is ingesting the sickness of the motherfucker you with the most. It ain't even nothing to bounce it off of. But in your mind, because the socialization don't say mama's missing, it's you with the fuck. It's a projection of y'all got the problem. Even when I heard the sister talking about, look at him, a narcissist. No, he's doing what a man does. Our nurture comes with challenge. We ain't the same, and we ain't even supposed to be. But you're only looking at the world through the feminine. So when you judging his perspectives, you judging it through the lens of the feminine. You flawed, baby. You the narcissist calling him a narcissist.
Yeah, everybody's
It's
flawed.
very interesting.
Yeah.
Everybody is flawed, but I'm just talking about the socialization. There are environments, even the fucking streets is cultivated for us. You ain't on the goddamn corner. My sister was older than me. Everybody call her two sister. Cause she ain't moved through the land like I moved through the land. It just is what it is. Right now, granted, she got my aunts was there, and that's great. But if you don't have those things, do you have that community?
So I think we all are impacted certainly by the leaders of our life when we grow up. And so if the man leading your life as you grow up has these flaws, I think you are more inclined to also have them, or at least be impacted by them, right?
Yeah.
And then as an adult, it becomes on you to recognize that shit, properly assess it within yourself, heal and overcome. And I don't know that Clay did that or what's her name, baby father did that. Like I don't know that they have done that, but I think it's incumbent upon everybody to do that.
A lot of people don't do it.
Yeah, but I think it's incumbent on everybody to do that at some point from any perspective, right? As a man, as a woman, as a man raised by a woman, like it's like all of that shit impacts you, right? Yeah. I'm a man that was raised by a woman, and so what I say that to say, it took me a while. It took me well into adulthood to even be able to shift my perspective for what that might have been like on the other side. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? What might have the other perspective been like? I know what my mama's perspective is. You know what I'm saying? Empathetic to it, understanding, cool. But for the first half of my life, more so, that was the only perspective I could even
fathom.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. As I become a man and get to have my own experiences as a man, you have to, it offers some insight into what the other perspective could have been, might have been. You know what I'm saying? And you know, for me, it was too late. My biological father died when I was 16 or 17. So that wasn't a conversation we can go back and have. I've contemplated reaching out to some of his other children just to have conversations, some that knew him better than me. You know what I'm saying? They'd be like, yo, what the fuck was dude like? What he was on? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't even know if that's a door I want to open.
And even that's even
her their perspective.
Yeah, because it's interesting. Like one of my sisters, she didn't grow up in a household with her father, and she just always like pined for his love and affection and attention and stuff. Yeah. And her other two sisters grew up in a house with their father. They have the same father, and they can't stand him. Yeah. You know, and they like, what? You wanted to be around him, right. Da 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 da, and she's just like,
he ain't shit. Like,
right. So exactly. So it's
interesting, man.
Yeah.
I never really pined for that. Like as a shorty, like I never really was like, oh, I wanted like, why you don't? I was never under the Will Smith Act. You know what I'm saying? Why you don't love me? I was never under the Fresh Prince Act. In fact, I remember that she told me that I was like, so like, you know what I mean? Like, what? She made this dramatic. Like, you can just sit down. I'm like, sit down for what? But anyway, yeah, that was, you know.
But see, I think a lot of this shit is so deep-seated, we might not even recognize it, right? Like one of the blessings I've had in my life, and it sounds crazy saying it's a blessing, is that I've lost all my family members. And in a lot of ways, it's freeing, right? And it clears up any misconceptions. Now I'm only dealing with my thoughts about the situation. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I'm dealing with it, and I'm a introspective dude. I don't know if everyone is, but I do think the journey of this life is finding or healing or becoming whole, becoming one with your spirit, becoming one with yourself. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I search for those kind of answers, and I don't think that's normal for everybody to do. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I brought up something real quick before we started about the 5 love languages.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
And what I was going to say was that what happens is, and I'm going to bring this back to the love languages, but all of us relate through the lenses of our childhood traumas. Even whether you know it or not.
Yeah.
Right? And one of the things that I learned when my mother died, and my mother was the last one to go of all my family, right? And it, like emotionally, it took a toll on me that none of those other deaths took a toll on me. And I was like confused, like, I ain't even fuck with her like that. Right. Why is this having this kind of effect on me? Right? But the reason it had the kind of effect it had on me, because that's the one I was not healed from. That's the one that had the greatest impact on me. right? And being introspective, it kind of created a roadmap to how I dealt with women all my life. Like her be like, I be like, I ain't never been with no ugly woman. Her be like, nigga, ain't no way. No, I'm dead ass. But it's also
don't believe him.
It's also a direct reflection
don't
of
tell
the
her that.
relationship I had with my mama. One, my mother was beautiful, flat out, right? But again, on some not feeling valued, always feeling less than, really some low self-esteem shit.
Yeah.
So watch me pull the baddest one in the group, just to show you
Every
they
time.
value me
I
every
have to.
motherfucking time. I got to have the baddest of you. Fuck you, right? I don't even like you. Consciously, I ain't thinking like that though.
Right.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but it's all these other little nuanced shit that I look at and I was like, damn, man, this is fucked up. Right? But it was all in an attempt to prove my worth to the woman who should have loved me first.
Yeah. I actually had a conversation with a friend, and he was like, we was having some conversation, whatever. I won't go into it, but Patreon. We can. I should tell it on Patreon. Actually, it was very interesting. Actually, but he was talking about we were talking about the hot and cold, kind of like the push pull between that men do, and he was like, "Why do you think that is?" And I said, "I think it's probably because a lot of people, we were talking about men though, but people in general don't know how to receive love, or don't ever really allow somebody to love them." And he was like, damn, and he like put his head down, and then I said, and I think, because I've had to deal with this, I said, I think that might stem more from like, mommy issues, how we talk about daddy issues and mommy issues, but that typically from what I've learned as I've, been introspective and things like that, is that might stem from more so what you would call like mommy issues. Because that is the first person that's supposed to, provide that kind of nurturing aspect and care for you and hug you and hold you and all that stuff. And so if you're missing that, then you, like you said, you kind of searching for it.
I might argue this, that the girls in our community have a greater loss from the fathers missing than the boys. And the boys in our community have a greater losses from the mothers being there unfulfilled.
I think I might agree with that. Yeah, I think I might agree with that. Yep. And I think because with the boys, whether the father is there or not, you know what I mean? Again, you need that first kind of nurturing moment. And a lot of mothers, especially if they're single mothers, they're not paying attention to
I think it's different.
What
I'm
that
rocking
nurture
with
is.
it from this standpoint. It goes back to the nurture concept. I think in a lot of ways as a boy, when you miss the relationship with a father, it kind of makes you weak. And I say it in this sense, like, it's the nurture and challenge. And I'm not painting with a broad brush, say it always is this way. What I'm saying is that a man's nurture looks like that. I love you, but I'm still going to challenge you. So in that challenge, you learn to grab your nuts. I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But a mother's nurture builds your confidence.
Yeah.
Builds your spirit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And it's vice versa with a daughter. A mother is going to challenge a daughter.
Yep.
Right? But a father is going to just love you. Right? Not just love you,
No,
but
I
it
see.
exhibits different, so the daughter gets her confidence through the lens of the man. Right? So now you put that hodgepodge together, and what do we have? We got men out here who grew up without the dad, and they miss the conflict part. So they acquiesce a lot. Right? Because they don't want the challenge. Well, you at the bottom of the barrel socially. Right? And your whole life is challenged. And if you can't stand up to it, then you just not going to fucking stand up. Right? Let me finish it. With the women, though, right? With the women who miss the father, they have low self-esteem. Right? So they know how to love. They don't know who to love. Because what looks like a man ain't what they really fucking with.
Yeah.
Right? Now, let's reverse it. Now, with the mother who's not fulfilled.
She's there,
Right.
but not.
She's looking at that boy because he's looking more and more like his daddy all the time. And that could exhibit very differently a lot. Like, you look like the motherfucker who caused me all this pain because I ain't dealing with whatever the real is. So his confidence is shot to death. So he know who to love, but he don't know how to love. It's really an
Yeah,
interesting
it's a lot
dynamic.
of brokenness, and everybody's on a very basic and surface level. Everybody is looking for
Healing from their childhood traumas. Getting into the 5 love languages. I'm in therapy this week. Y'all know I'd be like, man, fuck out of here.
My therapist broke up with me today.
Good, man. You don't need it. Move on.
I don't need it.
Right. But look,
that's what he said.
Dude hit me with the, what's your love language? And you know how.
Good on him. Dollar kept taking money.
Soon dude was like, what's your love language? I was
What's
like,
wrong?
Bro, I don't get into that bullshit. Like, I don't believe in that bullshit. And he kind of let me ride with I don't believe in that bullshit. Then we further having this dialogue. And he's like, your love language is what's it, words of affirmation. And I was like, man, no, it ain't. I don't believe in that bullshit. And I'm going on, and he was like, no. And I didn't have the words to debate with the motherfucker at the time, right? But again, I went back and I thought about that shit. And that's a flaw. For me, the love language construct is a flaw. It's not our love language. Even if it is words of affirmation from his perspective, right? What it is me trying to fill an internal void with an external solution. The shit I used to say all the time, right? But because I didn't get this as a child from the motherfucker I was seeking it from, now I want to put that responsibility on the partner. That's not your responsibility to heal my brokenness. And we call it the love language. No, I'm communicating through trauma.
Yeah. But a basic question though, does it feel good though when you receive words of affirmation?
Surely, but that's the flaw, E, and that's what I mean about becoming
I
whole
get
with
it,
yourself.
yeah.
When you really whole with yourself, back to Erykah Badu, you don't need no validation from nobody.
Yeah, I get it, but I'm just still want to know.
We can't dismiss it, though. We can't get it and dismiss it, right? Because that's what we all do. And then we find ourselves in situations like, why this motherfucker don't tell me I'm dope?
So no, I think it's valid, bro. It's certainly not scientific, but I do think it speaks to how you like to be loved or how you prefer to be related to. Like, is it science? No, I never thought it was science, but I thought it was a good map to chart, like, what do I like? Okay, I absolutely like quality time. I can just sit with my partner.
Basic level of,
We don't have to say shit for 5 hours, but I'm happy that you're sitting right there. You know what I'm saying? Or we can be having an intimate conversation. That's quality time. Whatever, right? Or go out. But I absolutely like quality time. I like physical touch. You know what I mean? I'm a person who will sit and like rub your thigh or hold hands. I love hugs. I'm a big hugger. Like,
it's just putting an identifier.
yeah, just a way to identify the way I like to be loved. Now, I don't fuck words of affirmation. Thanks, babe. You like, oh, babe, you great. You killed that. Thank you. I didn't need that. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that and I received that, but I didn't need that. Acts of service. Thank you. Love. You came over here and did the laundry and all. Thank you. Love. Appreciate it, but I would do that shit eventually. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad that you do it. Don't stop doing it. But
it's like it don't make or break you, but
let me pull back the layers. Because it ain't about the science part of it that I'm talking about, though.
Right.
What I'm saying is that you're still relating through childhood traumas. Right? And if love is about being and not doing, then it's still a relationship through the lenses of my childhood traumas of where I am void at. So you said my shit was quality time. It's not necessarily words of affirmations.
Right.
And it's just because I know you and your mama dynamic, and I know me and my mama dynamic. And if that nurture came through in that way, then your confidence would be up in that capacity.
Good
but
point.
Your daddy gone.
No, stay right there. Words of affirmation. Your mom and mine. Right? That's because I think you're right than a motherfucker. Lorianne is, baby,
You the greatest nigga in the world.
you got it. And I was going to reference that in a story about where you was talking, like me throughout football, right? As I got good at it, my mama was always like, baby, you better than all of them. You straight. I've had cracked ribs one time. She was like, we're going to get you in this Epsom salt. You're going to go out there, you're going to bust their ass tomorrow. I went out there, bust their ass tomorrow. Because she over there like, you good? Every time I bend over, she's like, you good? Don't worry about it. Bust their ass. Like, but I also remember, to the point you was making at the same time, the first time I started playing football. Very first time I played contact football. And them niggas was tackling, right? And I'm like, I don't like this. I don't like this drill. I don't like it, right? And so my mama, because she is who she is, was at my first practice. She stayed the whole time, and she was just sitting outside the gate. I walked my whole ass right off the field, over there to the side of the gate with my pads on and I'm like, I don't know if I could do this, mama. And she like, it's okay, baby, if you don't want to do it. My father would have been like, hey,
Get your ass out there.
get your ass out there, right? One of the coaches sent a player over there and said, Coach said,
Stop talking to your fucking mama.
Coach said either get back over in this drill
shit.
or
Yeah,
turn
I
your
know.
pads in.
Yeah. We ain't having this conversation with your mama.
We're not doing
Bullshit.
it. Come back, get back in this drill, turn your pads in.
Halftime, you can't even be in the practice.
Yeah. And so I go back in the drill. I found out I'm cold. But that's that's the difference though. But
the difference.
you not having that affirmation thing, so now you like, yeah, tell me I'm shit. I'm like, I don't. My mama told me I was shit if I left the crib. I don't need that. You know what I mean? Hold my hand up.
I get what you're saying though, because it said that you find peace when you heal your inner childhood wounds. And I like truly believe that. Like even just in moving through different phases in life, different phases in relationship, I find the more that I'm addressing certain issues like within myself, the more I couldn't care about, like I couldn't care less about something in relation to, I don't know, love and relationships and stuff like that,
Man.
which is a little bit about that conversation that I do want to talk about maybe on Patreon.
Yeah.
But so I agree with that. I just was more so just on the love language tip on some, I think it's just like a surface level explanation for maybe your childhood wound.
But it's the flaw. It's a flawed concept to me, right? Again, if this is internally my problem, you know what I mean?
It's not me.
If this is my problem internally, and I'm seeking for you, it's like I said, it's an internal hole with an external solution by me saying, hey, love me in this way. Now I got an expectation of you to pack my hole.
Yeah.
You can't pack my hole.
It ain't on you. It ain't your
It
hole.
ain't on you. It's my hole.
Yep.
Right? And
So
that's the part of it.
communicating the concepts to each other and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I like
Put
to be
an
loved like this.
expectation.
Well, why do you like to be loved like this? Because I ain't had that. Well, I ain't here to give you that. I'm here to be me, and that might not be me.
But what if that's who I seek as a partner? What if because that's my hole, I seek a person who naturally provides that?
It's not because it's exactly what we do. It's what you're gonna naturally do. Because we ain't dealing with the healing internally. So now we find that person who packs that hole. And we use them to pack the hole because we ain't there with packing the hole. But that's not their job to pack the hole. It's your job to pack the hole.
Still my love language. We gotta go. Right or wrong, for better or for worse, right? In sickness and in health, that is my love language. In wholeness and in unwholeness, that is my love language, man. I like that conversation, y'all. I like the perspectives on it. I like the different ways we kind of broached it from. So hope y'all enjoyed it too, man. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to this Relationship Friday edition of Herb and 2. We're about to dive a little bit deeper in the Patreon edition of Herb and 2. If you want to become official dirtbag, we want you to become an official dirtbag as well. Just go to patreon.com/Herb and 2. You'll get this bonus episode every single week. We dive a little bit deeper on some of the things we talked about during the regular Relationship Friday show, and we, let go of a few other things here and there. It's also going to feature Ryan and P this evening. We back next week for a live Monday edition of Herb and 2, live at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. Again, thank all of y'all for tuning in. Please make sure that you hit the like button. So many of y'all be watching the show. We need y'all to like the show as well. Hit that little thumbs up. It does a lot of help for us. So please, if you will, hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe and set the alert so you get reminders when we go live, so that when we do go live every Monday, you will get the alert so you can come and be a part of the show. Huge shout out to Ryan. Huge shout out to P. They doing the hard work behind the camera. E4O, as always, is here for a Relationship Friday conversation. That's 2. I'm Herb. Y'all be good to each other. Peace.
Assalamu alaikum.